We've got a great set of finalists out here in our novice division. And I'll be honest with you, judging showmanship is very difficult, and it's never been one of my favorite things to do because it is so subjective, and you can find good in every young person that's out here, and you can change a little something about every person that's in showmanship. And we're going to go and talk about each one of them just a little bit, and I'm going to pull them out kind of in the order that I think they wind up here from the bottom to the top. And if you're the first one I call, don't think you're last, okay? Because you beat a bunch in your heat. You made the finals at a national contest, and that's something to be really, really proud of and something you can hang your hat on for a long time. Young man in the white shirt, pull your heifer out right here. We're going to start off with him. He's going to be seventh out here in this group. He does a really good job. He knows where he's at in the ring. He kind of got caught in a pickle right here when we got on the profile. Didn't quite have room to get his heifer in there. And, you know, from a parent's perspective and certainly an ag teacher's perspective, I'd tell you, get out of there and find yourself a better place to get because you weren't in any particular order, and give the judge a good side view profile. But, young man, you did a great job. I think the one that we're going to come next with in sixth place is this young man right here in the black shirt or whatever color it is wearing the leather harness. Come on out, buddy. He does a great job. He's not very big, and he's showing a great big heifer. And sometimes he lets her cover him up just a little bit, but he knows where he's at out there, and he knows how to get that show side back leg stuck in the ground like it needs to be. I guarantee you, I don't know for sure how old he is, but in future years, he's going to be really, really tough to get around. We're going to come next with our youngest exhibitor in this particular group, the little curly-headed fella right here on the end. And I'm going to tell you what, he's fun to watch because he just gets out and lopes across that ring. He's got a little spring in his step, and you can tell he's happy to be here. Does a really good job with that heifer. You know, he's 8. Some of them I talked to were 11 or so, and he's certainly at an experience disadvantage in this particular group. But he made the top 6 at a national contest, and I think that's pretty dadgum impressive, and I'd sure be tickled if I were him. Young lady down here on the end, we're going to bring you next. You're going to be 4th in this group. She does a great job. She gets some distance between herself and her heifer. She gets her stuck, and then she gets back and shows herself just a little bit. She's got a pretty cool show stick, and I like that, man. That's very unique. I wouldn't mind having one like that myself. I wouldn't change a whole lot about what she does. Just keep her coming back, keep her participating, keep working at home. Because, kids, that's where these showmanship contests are won, is at home. You need to set them up before you feed them sometimes, set them up after you feed them sometimes. Set them up in the morning sometimes, set them up in the evening sometimes. Don't ever fall into a routine with sticking these cattle when you're practicing, because when you get to a show, there's nothing routine about it, is it? You never know exactly how long you're going to be there, whether the judge is running ahead of time, or whether he's running behind time, whether it's going to be hot or cold, whether or not they'll eat or drink. So you got to be prepared for just about anything. The one we're going to come with next is the young lady in the white shirt. Come across here, young lady. She does a really good job of getting that heifer stuck. She has to reach really high to keep this big heifer's head up. And, you know, consequently, it makes her arch her back just a little bit. If I could change her posture just a smidgen, then she certainly moves up higher in this group. But here's a young lady that looks show ring ready. She's confident. She's got a pleasant look on her face, but yet she looks at you with some intensity and some desire to win. And I certainly appreciate that about her. Second place in this particular group is going to be the young lady right here in the yellow shirt. Come across here, babe. She does a really good job. Now, I told all of you that showmanship is very subjective. Now, one thing I like to see when I've got my cattle stopped, when I set them up, I like to point my belt buckle towards their shoulder and kind of blend in with their shoulder just a little bit. I've noticed quite a few youngsters that are turning the other way, and that's just not my style. I'm not saying it's not a good one. It's not the way I teach it. So, you know, I guess I've got the reins today, and I get to decide what I like, and that's what I like. But here's a young lady that's in command of that heifer. She's not real big either, and that heifer's big and stout, but she does a good job of analyzing her feet and legs, finding out where they need to be, and getting them there. And our winner in this division is going to be this young lady right here in the orange shirt. And I'll be the first to tell you, she's not flashy. She doesn't do anything outlandish or something I've never seen before, but she's smooth, she's solid, she never makes a mistake. I love her posture. I love her body position in relation to her cattle. I have yet to catch that female with her feet out of line. She doesn't carry her stick any higher than her head. She's ready to stop her on her nose with her stick if need be, and she's excellent at leading that female into position. And I think that's very important for you kids to practice. When you're messing with them at home, lead them into position. I think there's some really, really outstanding showmen in this group. Let's congratulate them and give them a nice round of applause.
We start just from the showmanship standpoint. The first 6 individuals, I think, are stacked extremely, extremely deep. And Wes said it best. This is extremely subjective as we get down to it. You know, I'd take it a little longer. I like to talk. I already told you that. But I think that whenever we step back out here in an award that's, you know, oh, you owe such due diligence as this, because the kids work on it year-round. I mean, this is extremely competitive. They do a nice job. And I'm going to sit here and take the time. Maybe I go a little long. Even so, I just want you to know that I'm putting my heart into it whenever we get out here. We start down here with a young lady, and we know we didn't talk anything about what I liked or what I didn't like whenever we were pulling them. From a side viewpoint, this young lady is as impressive in a style presentation as any of them. I think she does an extremely good job. Maybe it's part of the reason that she's a little smaller and the heifer's a little bigger, and she maintains such control over that girl. Always out in front of her when she walks and when she's leader. And then when she gets her set up, she does such a good job. After she does get her set up and she got all 4 corners planted the way she wants, then she steps out of the way. I think from a presentation and a style, because showmanship to me is kind of a style. You got to have an attitude along with it. I think that she's very commendable from that aspect. I think you do an excellent, excellent job on that. Hats off to you. As we step in here to the next young lady, she has that same style and that out of whack. Everything's always very, very complete, and I think you're extremely solid in the way you go about things. Very commendable on that aspect. Young lady is next. She, too, like the young lady up on the front, just that style and that presentation. Like I said, it's an attitude. I like for you to have your arm out, be out in front of your cattle, have a look about you, because not only are we showing the cattle, but a lot of people can do that. Maybe they're not as fast as some of the guys that are back out here, ladies that are back out here on the front side. But she does an extremely good job of getting her set up fast. She walks her into it, then gets her set up, drops her loin, and then she makes sure that you pay attention to her. She demands that you recognize her, your awareness as a judge too. And I think that's a really, really good thing to have whenever we step back out here. Young lady's here in a blue shirt, another one that's extremely calm and collected. Whenever you set her heifer up, she struggled with her a little bit. The heifer wouldn't want to cooperate, throw her head just a little bit. That's unfortunate, but it never got her out of whack. I mean, she was always extremely collected in the ring. Me, I'd have probably been a little upset, but she never fought her. Her attitude or demeanor out here in the ring never changed, and I think that's a very, very positive attribute to have. She always has her set up. She gets the most out of that heifer, and I think she does an extremely good job. Young man down here on this end, one that whenever he came into his heat, he kind of blew me away. I thought it was just extremely powerful in the presence that he had out here in the ring. I know when you go through and talk to these kids, very knowledgeable about what he wanted to do. And it's not about the questions. The questions to provoke conversation, try to get you to them. The young lady down here on the end had an unfortunate incident where she got her foot stepped on, the heifer got loose. It was nothing. Just one of those unfortunate incidents, and that's going to kind of keep her out. I think extremely tough. You know, like I said, when we get back out here, you can do a gazillion different things, and you're only going to make one person happy as it goes on. I think the heats are extremely tough. I'm going to go out here and shake the hands with the winners in order and let them pull out. Give these kids a big round of applause. Congratulations to all 6. We get out here. I don't know the best way to do this. There is one person that has hit me so hard whenever they first came in. It's been effortless. And I don't know that I've ever seen a showmanship contestant that I could say it was effortless. I don't know that he's got the most boisterous posture, has the most boisterous presentation out here, but he walks his heifer in every time. And I think in showmanship that it's extremely important that you walk your heifers in. I think when you stop, they should be set up. You know, when we're sitting out here showing junior nationals, you might get a little longer look. Whenever we grew up in Oklahoma, it was probably quite similar to this. Our classes would be about this size. But from a judge's standpoint, whenever you stop them, they should be set up that way. When we turn around, they look at you. So we're talking a matter of 5 seconds. 10's probably a touch too long. And the kids that are out here are the ones that push themselves up here. They're the reason. That's the reason they got out of heat. They not only had their cattle set up whenever you looked at them, but then they had some presentation along with it. You know, like I said, this is a great honor, a great award to be able to receive. You know, he had his heifer set up every time. Always looked good, had presentation about him. I'm not going to take any longer. The young man's going to win down here on the end. Congratulations. So then as we continue through our next 6, like I said, this thing is extremely tough. And as a parent, you're going to be hurt if your kid doesn't win. I know how it was when we grew up. It's a competitive nature and a competitive environment. Like I said, this thing's extremely deep, extremely tough. And the reason he wins is because I said I've never seen anybody make it look effortless. He made it look effortless. So then when we start sorting the next couple of kids, the next young man that I like, I don't know if it's his body style that he has, the long lines that he has, but he has such a presentation, such a demeanor out here in the ring. He gets his heifer set up. It probably cost him bringing a young calf out here in the ring because she didn't want to hold still. And that's just philosophy in terms of picking the animal that you get to do, get to bring out here in the ring. I understand that it doesn't have to be yours. So, man, if I could find one that was automatic that I worked with at home, that's the one I would use. From a presentation standpoint, from a style when we get out here in the ring, not only did he get his heifer set up, but then he had that nice body line, that look. It's going to be the young man down here in the white shirt. Thought he did an excellent job. Congratulations to you. If you guys will pull on out, I'm not very good at counting. I grew up in Oklahoma. Wes, that goes for you too. So then I think the next 4 come out of the first 5 individuals up here, and how that works, I'm not exactly sure. The young lady with a red Brangus heifer, whenever she gets her heifer set up, looks extremely good. She does a nice job, very collected in the way that she goes about things. There's a couple of times where that heifer got out of line, and maybe she wasn't the fastest to get it set up, but whenever she does get her set and that heifer does cooperate with her, I think she's pretty hard to turn whenever we get her up here on the line. The next young lady up in front, her presentation, the look that she demands, or the presence that she demands from me, because she's always making great eye contact, very aware of her surroundings out here. I think your presence pushes you way up there. I mean, I think you do an excellent job from that. You struck me hard whenever you came in there in the first heat, and that look stuck along the whole way. Excellent job there. The young man here in the plaid shirt with a big Brangus heifer, I think one that's very calm and collected. He's always very slow in his demeanor. He gets his heifer set up, and then he sets himself up too. Like, he gets his arm out. He presents a strong body line, arm out, back straight, you know, and then that heifer set up. I commend you on that. I mean, you do an extremely good job from that aspect of it. The next young man, I believe he was in the first heat too. And another one of those that's got that presence out here in the ring. You truly have to appreciate that. That heifer sets up really good. Strong topped and level hipped. He gets the most out of her. Walks her slow around the ring. She's probably a touch tighter than I'd like to see. That's a physical aspect of it, but he's bringing the best out of her. He doesn't get her moving too fast where she gets too choppy. He's got that presence about him in the ring also. And then we come back here to the young man in the shirt directly behind him, or the plaid shirt directly behind him. Got a big heifer. He's done a nice job of getting her set up the entire time. You know, whenever we sat there and talked, came up with a very intelligent answer. It was a nice answer to hear. The only thing I would say, and one that will kind of hinder and depend on where you fall in the top 6, is the fact that you stopped scratching and you started talking. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, that shows me you're extremely comfortable with me. You know, nothing was nervous. But from a judge's standpoint, we'd like to see you keep that attention. You know, we're guys, but we'd like to be able to multitask sometimes too. So those are the 5 that I like to fill the next 4 holes. Give everybody a big round of applause. Congratulations to everybody. I'm going to go out here and keep picking them.
Really close, really, really close. We've had a lot of discussion on how we're going to do it. The young person that's going to place sixth in this particular group is the young man standing right over here in front of me. Come on out, bud. He does a nice job getting those cattle set, getting their feet where they need to be. Now, I'm going to give you one bit of constructive criticism that's my opinion and my opinion only. Now, you're however you want to get it, doesn't matter. You're leading that heifer. She's wanting to drag just a little bit, isn't she? And you've got your stick up in front of her nose. Now, when we're evaluating breeding females, I like to see them walk. Too fast is better than too slow for me any day. Okay? So if she's dragging back on you and not wanting to get out and move, get that stick out from in front of her face and let her go. Person that's going to be fifth is a young lady in the black shirt right here. Bring yours on out, young lady. She's really calm. She's really cool. She's got some intensity in her face. She does a tremendous job getting that female set on the profile. She's got her neck and head in line with her body. She does a good job getting that show side back leg back, and that doesn't do anything but extend the length of that female and stouten up her hind wheel, and I think she does just a tremendous job getting that done. Person that's going to be fourth is this young lady right here. Come on across. She's got some show ring presence. That's what I like about you. You stay back off your cattle. You present them, but you present yourself as well. I like your style. I like the way you go about it. There's a couple of times you kind of got wadded up in a corner there and had a hard time getting out, and that's happened to all of us. But what that tells you is you've always got to be really, really aware of the show ring, where you're at, where you're headed, what's happening in front of you and what's happening behind you. Show ring awareness, very, very important. And while you're out, pull right in here. This will be the young lady that comes next. I thought when we set these cattle into motion and ask them to stop and start and stop and start, and I know that's kind of silly, but when you're showing at a big show, something of this magnitude, sometimes you don't get a lot of opportunities to get those cattle seen by a judge when they're right. And this young lady could lead them out, get her stopped on a dime, get her looking just right, and do it in a hurry. And I appreciate that about you. You do an awfully nice job there. Second place is going to be the young lady right down here with the red heifer. Come on across, young lady. Now, I said this once before today when I was talking, and Levi and I agreed on this. Here's a gal that goes about things in a really calm, slow, smooth way. Does she do anything that jumps out and grab you? No. But the thing that she does that jumps out and grabs me is that she doesn't make it very, very many mistakes. She does really good with her placing around the ring. She does a good job with her feet and legs. She gets the most out of that female. She's kept her top where it needs to be and kept her hip as square as it can be, and still does it with some intensity, yet some calmness, and I really appreciate that about her. So we're down to 3. 2 of you know that you're going to be 7th and 8th, and 1 of you know that you're going to win this deal. Those of you 2 that are going to be 7th and 8th, don't let that bother you, not one bit. You came out of tough heats. You made it back to the finals at your National Junior Show, and that's really, really an accomplishment and something to be proud of. But the one that comes to the top in this middle group is pulling out right here in front of me, the young man in the black shirt. You bet. He's a hoss now. He gets it done. He's got the kind of look on his face that tells me if you walk past me, you've walked too far because I'm your winner right here. And he definitely is in this group. Let's put our hands together and give these kids another big round of applause. Thanks for having Levi and I. We've had a great time. Good luck to you the rest of the show.
Can I get a round of applause for our judges today? The results of our senior showmanship are 6th place, Connor Jackson, 5th place, Emily Jackson, 4th place, Katie Knox, 3rd place, Toby Parrott, 2nd place, Allison Desatel, and our champion senior showman is Mr. Tanner Banks.